When it came to making my magazine and everything related to my magazine, there was a number of different technologies that I used in order to create it. The first one being Photoshop. Photoshop was a program that I used for the front cover of my magazine. There was a lot of different things I could do to make my magazine look professional, and so I could easily add all the codes and conventions. For example, I edited my banner in the front cover to try and make it look cooler and more towards my target audience. Another way I edited my magazine was making the main cover image a bit lighter. This is because a lot of my text and cover lines that I had a dark background. But after this change, it made it much easier to read and much easier to work on. So instead of this being a benefit to the audience and what they like, this is more of a benefit to me. I also showed in this video changing the size and shape of the banner that would go behind my main cover line. This was important because I think that it's one of the most important parts of my front cover, as it draws the reader's attention to it so that the readers know what the main story is in this issue. Another program that I used in order to make my contents page and double page spread was InDesign. This program was a bit hard to get to grips with, but overall I think I managed to use it well, adding the codes and conventions that I needed. One way that I managed to add the codes and conventions was by simply copying and pasting the headings onto different places so I didn't have to keep making them. This was good as it meant that all the headings were the same size, which connotes professionalism and also attention to detail, which is what I tried my hardest to get out of my contents page. Also, InDesign made it much easier to make my double page spread. This was because of the layout that was available in the program, where I could add lines which everything could fit into, and it looked professional and didn't really look messy because everything was in certain borders and in certain places. Another piece of tech that I used was the DSLR cameras. These were extremely important for my magazine as I used the DSLRs to take my pictures. This was because of their high quality and extensive list of shots and tweaks that could be made to a photo before and after taking them. One of the final pieces of tech that I used was Web 2.0, and more specifically the blog sites and things like that which I used to keep updated and my work organised. This also helped me to see the progression in designing programs like Photoshop, as well as looking at different changes and improvements I made to my magazine. Another app that I used was SurveyMonkey. This was a website where I could create my own questionnaire which I used to research when deciding my target market and asking my classmates what their opinion was on my magazine, which really helped me to decide a lot of things. I think that all the tech that I used had their advantages and disadvantages. For example, in InDesign, it was really hard to get used to after using Photoshop a lot. For example, designing boxes and text was hard to get used to, which is something that took a bit of time to get a grip with. Another piece of tech which I think had disadvantages was the DSLRs. I think that these were hard to work with when starting off and the options were very confusing. However, after a bit of explanation and practice with it, it became much easier to use and I was able to get the pictures that I want and great quality out of them.